Well, now we're going to exercise some grey matter in Mastermind.
Hello and welcome to Mastermind at the University of East Anglia in the lovely old cathedral city of Norwich, where tonight we embark on the semi-final stages of this year's competition. The university was founded just over 20 years ago in parkland overlooking the Yare Valley, just 2 miles from the centre of Norwich. And you join us in the university's spectacular new Sainsbury Centre for Visual Arts, which was opened in 1978 and is surely one of the foremost examples of ultra-modern, high-tech architecture in Britain. We welcome back this evening 4 winners from the first round contests, and they are Bob Fowkes from Ayr in Scotland, Primrose Wood from Paynton in Devon, Richard Joby from here in Norwich, and Malcolm Parnell from Leicester. And remember, just to make things more difficult, they've all had to select a different specialised subject from their choice in the first round. And so may I have the first semi-finalist, please? Your name, please?
Bob Fowkes.
Occupation?
School teacher.
In the first round, you took the life and work of Antoine Lavoisier. What is your chosen specialised subject this time?
The Mars novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Mr. Fowkes, you have 2 minutes on the Mars novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs starting. Now, what was the name of the mastermind of Mars?
Gustavus.
Correct. The narrator of the mastermind of Mars was Vad Varro, the assistant of the mastermind. What was his identity on Earth?
Ulysses Paxton.
Correct. In Thuvia, made of Mars, how did Vascor insinuate himself into the household of Carthoris?
Posing as a slave.
Correct. What was the name of the Princess of Life Eternal, daughter of Metai Shang, the holy Hecador of the Holy Therns?
Phaidor.
Correct. Before the seas dried up, which had been the mightiest of the 5 oceans of Barsoom?
Throxus.
Correct. In the chessmen of Mars, what was the occupation of Aegos, who worked in the pits of Otar?
An embalmer.
Yes. In the vaults of Rasthavas and the mastermind of Mars, who was given the number 4296E2631H?
Valadia.
Correct. According to the table in Thuvia made of Mars, what was the basic unit of linear measurement on Mars that was roughly equivalent to an earthly foot?
Sophad.
No, it was the ad. What did the Martians call the planet Venus?
Kosum.
Correct. In the chessmen of Mars, of what was Tara accused when she was brought before Otar?
Being a Corful.
Correct. Mars had 2 moons. What was the Martian name for the moon that made the more leisurely journey through the heavens?
Chloros.
Correct. In the mastermind of Mars, why was Vad Varro's performing ape able to display remarkable intelligence?
Because he had part of the brain of a man.
Correct. Woola was appointed guard over John Carter by the Green Jed of Thark. What was Woola?
A Calot.
Correct. According to superstition, in the gods of Mars, what did a Thern first become if he died before the end of his allotted lifespan of 1,000 years?
Ant-Man.
Correct. What was the name of the father of Solar, John Carter's warder, when he first arrived on Mars?
Tartarchus.
Correct. In A Princess of Mars, how did Loquas Ptomel show his appreciation of the way John Carter had trained the Thoats?
Give him an anklet of gold.
Correct. What was a strange and important feature about the gold-plated spring lock on John Carter's tomb?
Could only be opened from the inside.
Correct. In the gods of Mars, what was the life expectancy of any member of the lower orders who looked upon Issus?
Nil.
No, 1 year of Martian time. What was the equivalent in zodes of an Earth day to the nearest whole zode?
10.
Correct. In A Princess of Mars, how did John Carter manage to break into the atmosphere factory and save Mars?
We're using the 9 thought waves.
That is correct. He hurled the 9 thought waves at the mighty door, and at the end of that round, Mr. Fowkes, you have scored 18 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And our second contender, please. Your name, please?
Primrose Wood.
Occupation?
Physiotherapist.
In the first round, you offered the Lord Peter Wimsey novels of Dorothy L. Sayers. What is your chosen specialised subject this time?
The Life of Sir Francis Drake.
Mrs. Wood, you have 2 minutes on the life of Sir Francis Drake starting. Now, what was the port that Drake called the treasure house of the world, where in 1572 he was wounded in the leg?
Nombre de Dios.
Correct. What was the name of the Queen's favourite who was recalled when he tried to join Drake's expedition to the West Indies in 1585?
Essex.
No, Philip Sidney. Of what ailment did Sir Francis Drake die in January 1596?
Dysentery.
Correct. What was the name of the crippled ship in the Armada which Drake captured at night after leaving his position at the head of the British fleet?
Rosario.
Correct. In the Lisbon expedition of 1589, who was the joint commander with Drake and general of the land forces?
Carlisle.
No, Sir John Norris. During his great voyage, Drake renamed his ship the Golden Hind. Why did he choose this name?
It was Hatton's Crest.
Correct. In May 1587, which city did Drake wisely decide was too heavily defended to attempt to capture?
Lisbon.
Correct. What was the name of the Portuguese pilot captured by Drake who left an account of Drake's circumnavigation?
De Silva.
Correct. What was the first question that Drake and his men asked as they approached Plymouth after nearly 3 years' circumnavigation?
Was the Queen alive and well?
Correct. What was the unusual home that the young Drake lived in on the Medway with his family after 1549?
A hulk.
A hulk is right. What did Drake inherit as an apprentice from his first employer?
Bark.
Correct. Drake gained his first command in 1568 in Hawkins's fleet. Which vessel did Drake bring home after the disaster at San Juan de Ulua?
Judith.
Correct. What was the name of the secretary to Christopher Hatton with whom Drake formed an ill-fated friendship in the 1570s?
Doughty.
Correct. Which Huguenot privateer captain made a joint operation with Drake in 1573 during which they captured caravans of silver?
Letestu.
Correct. What was the dramatic view that Drake and Oxenham had from a lookout platform on February 11th, 1573?
Pacific and Atlantic.
Correct. What happened to Drake's own ship, the armed merchantman Thomas, in the Battle of the Armada?
Got sunk.
No, it was used as a fire ship. In 1572 at Port Pheasant, whose message, scratched on a lead plate nailed to a tree, warned Drake that his secret base had been found?
Gareth.
Correct. What was the city captured by Drake in January 1586, which he returned to the governor for a ransom of only 25,000 ducats?
Cartagena.
No, it was Santo Domingo. In February 1579, Drake captured a Spanish treasure ship that was nicknamed the Cacafuego. What was their official name?
The Nostra Senora de la Concepcion.
Correct. Who wrote to the Viceroy... I've started, so I'll finish. Who wrote to the Viceroy of Mexico of a meeting with Drake in April 1579? He dines and sups with viols.
San Juan de Anton.
No, it was Don Francisco de Jarate. And at the end of that round, Mrs. Wood, you have scored 15 points and no passes. Thank you very much. Our third semi-finalist, please. Your name, please.
Richard Joby,
Occupation.
lecturer.
In the first round, you took the Great Eastern Railway, 1862 to 1922. What are you offering for this round?
Life and career of Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Dr. Joby, you have 2 minutes on the life and career of Isambard Kingdom Brunel, starting now. What was the name of Brunel's chief locomotive assistant who supported him in the broad gauge controversy?
Daniel Gooch.
Correct. In June 1841, the longest railway tunnel ever built by Brunel was completed. What's the name of the tunnel?
Box.
Correct. Which of Brunel's great works did he describe as my first child, my darling?
Clifton Suspension.
Correct. What was the famous engineering firm with which Brunel's father worked when Isambard was born?
Maudsley.
Correct. What was the name of the watchmaker to whom Brunel was apprenticed in Paris?
Breguet.
Correct. Who was the marine engineer who in 1856 repudiated his contract for the construction of the Great Eastern, almost causing the project to founder?
Scott Russell.
Correct. Who said of the Great Western Railway that